Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Little Hen says it's time to rock and roll.
All you people are so scared of me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Man, that's just me.
I'm Batman.
This is Sparta!
There is a tiger in the bathroom!
I'm an excellent driver.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Quiz, hotshot.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What songs do you know?
Songs?
Yes, songs.
Swanee River.
I love that song.
It happens to be my favorite.
Sing me the chorus.
No, certainly not.
Hello and welcome to this week's Monday Movie Show. I'm your host Stuart and I'm also joined by a very sick Andy.
You're not very sick. I just warning to people, if you think your speakers are broken, you're not. It's my voice that's broken.
Yeah, so poor Andy has a cold. We have 4 films to review on tonight's show. They are...
we have the Ben Affleck directed and starring thriller Argo. The drama People Like Us. Kevin James is back in Here Comes the Boom. And a little film called Grassroots.
Yeah, on top of that we have the usual movie news and the UK box office top 10. But as per usual, you can get us on the live chat on Spreaker in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. Just chat to us during the show. So let's kick things off with the UK box office top 10.
Number 10, we start with Sinister.
Yeah, it's the last week it's going to be in the top 10. I can probably guarantee that, even though there is one specific film that's out this week, which will obviously push it out. Sinister is a decent film for the first 45 minutes. After that, it just falls apart a little bit, and it just becomes a bit bog standard and normal.
And number 9 is Frankenweenie, which you still haven't seen yet, have you?
Nope, and by the time I probably get around to seeing it, it'll be gone out of the chart. So I might as well wait for it to come out on DVD.
Yeah, it's a nice animation. It's just unfortunately boring in the middle because it's a short which has been stretched out to 90 minutes unnecessarily. Great opening, boring middle, okay ending, not a good film, but overall nice, really done. But go see Paranormal instead, because I think it's still showing in some places. Number 8 has Rustin Bone making a new entry. A French film with Marion Cotillard starring as a woman who undergoes an accident which has a profound effect on her. She ends up going into a weird sort of relationship with a man, and it's all surrounding the drama of the two of them. Kind of like a romantic drama, but without the romance. So a really odd film, but a really good film. It will be, I think, in my top 10 of the year, which is now getting considerably packed and sort of crammed for space. Number 6 is a new entry for, surprise, surprise, Fun Size is in there.
Yeah, I like the fact that you skipped number 7.
Well, yeah, because that's just rubbish. Paranormal Activity 4, but who cares?
I guess we won't mention the little story that's attached to that, and we'll wait for the number 2 film. What I find interesting is there's actually 2 stories attached to that. With Paranormal Activity 4, there's a story which involves Sinister, whereas Paranormal Activity 4 in France caused a lot of riots and violence. And so what cinemas in France has decided to do, 40 cinemas in fact, has decided to not show Sinister because of Paranormal Activity 4 and they're thinking that violence might cause it and through Sinister, and it's stupid. It's stupid.
Fun Size. So
yeah, Fun Size is it'll probably have 1 week in the chart, and this is the only week it'll be in the chart because it centers around Halloween and about somebody who is looking after her younger brother, being told to look after her younger brother even though she doesn't want to, and she loses him during a party, and she gets together a few of her friends to try and find him. That is the plot of the film. Stupid plot. It looks an awful film, and no wonder it hasn't done very well. And like I said, it's probably the only week it's going to spend in the chart.
I am amazed that it managed to even make it into the top 10. At number 5, very slowly making its way out of the top 10, it's Taken 2.
Yeah, I wish it would just leave the top 10, because the film itself is probably the most cynical film of the year. It's not very good at all. It's just there for a cash cow, there to just get more money for the Taken franchise and making the fact that there is going to be a third one even more annoying.
Number 4 is Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, Hotel Transylvania. Surprisingly, it's not a bad film, considering who's voicing the movie. It's not just Adam Sandler. A bunch of people who normally star in Adam Sandler films do a few voices in this, and it's a nice, simple film that doesn't offend anybody. It's colourful. It's brash. There's a few jokes there for adults. There's a few jokes there for children, and it's a nice family film. It's nice.
It's nice. That's what you got to think.
Yeah.
It's nice. Is number three's movie Silent Hill Revelations 3D nice?
Nope, in my eyes, it is the messiest film of the year by far. Now, I've been trying my best to try and think of categories for the end of the year, sure, and weird, strange categories. I might try and do a category where I see it the messiest film of the year, and I've probably given away the winner here. Because honestly, this film, the way it's edited together, the way the storyline flows, is just an absolute mess. And some of the things that people do in the film, you just say to yourself, why are you deciding to do that? Stupid decisions, and it's badly directed, it's badly acted. The only decent thing about it is there is a scene on a carousel. If you know the Silent Hill games, specifically the third one, there's a scene on the carousel involving Heather's alternate twin, the evil version of herself, which is quite decently well done. But even the monsters in the film are taken out of Clive Barker's Hellraiser and ideas from that, and so it's a pointless movie. It's horrible.
Number two is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's the second best animated film of the year. It's a really, really fun animated film. We are not going to do the song because it'll stick in your brain really badly.
Yeah, we're going to do that in the intro for the show when it comes out on DVD.
Yep.
Which means at number one, still holding there, no real surprise, taking 16 million in the UK this week, Skyfall.
Yep, brilliant box office takings for Skyfall. It's gone and taken just under 90 million at the US box office. The highest grossing Bond film, debut Bond film of all time. It's cracking the 500 million mark at the worldwide box office, so it's done surprisingly well.
Surprisingly well?
Yeah, even though I thought it was a very distinctly average film.
You mean you're honestly surprised it did that well?
No, I'm kidding. I am definitely not surprised that it's done that well. It's the fifth highest grossing film in the UK of all time, actually, because I saw a tweet on from Charles Gant on Twitter, who said that he got a message from Fox telling him that because Titanic 3D was re-released, that pushed that into the fourth highest grossing film of all time, Titanic. So Skyfall has now got the fifth spot. But it'll not have that for very much longer. It should easily get past Avatar's taking some 90 million.
We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is the first film to crack the 100 million mark at the UK box office.
Guess we'll see maybe next week, maybe the week after.
Yeah, a bold prediction, but you never know. Right, let's get on to some movie news. According to the Coventry Telegraph, X-Men Days of Future Past will reportedly shoot next April. It was just revealed that Bryan Singer will direct the film, and he said, well, here goes, beginning full prep on X-Men Days of Future Past. Very excited. The film is set to come out on July the 18th, 2014.
I'm kind of looking forward to this, but also dreading it because of what he did with the X-Men, the first two X-Men films. But also then what he did with Superman Returns. So I will see what happens, but I don't know if I don't think he'll be able to do it better than what he did with X-Men 2, because X-Men 2 was fantastic.
I agree. It's rare that we agree on something, but I completely agree with you on that. I don't know what he's going to be able to do with it. Let's just see. Let's give him a chance. Give him a slight chance, but let's just see.
Not holding my breath, though, yeah.
I wouldn't, because you'll probably collapse. Harry Potter director David Yates has signed on to direct the Tarzan reboot for Warner Brothers. Nothing else is known about the project apart from Charlie Hunnam, Alexander Skarsgård, Henry Cavill and Tom Hardy are top of Warner's list to play Tarzan himself.
It's another reboot, move on.
Yeah? Which one out of those four, though, would you think would be a better Tarzan?
Who was it again? I know Tom Hardy was mentioned there.
Tom Hardy, Alexandra Skarsgård, Charlie Hunnam, which I've never heard of, and Henry Cavill.
I could see Alexander Skarsgård doing it.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. Tom Hardy, nope.
No,
Henry
Tom
Cavill
Hardy's
is awful.
Tom Hardy's no, he's too Tom Hardy. Unless he did a full-on Christian Bale and went skinny as mad, skinny as nuts. Then that wouldn't work.
Yeah, so I agree. Alexander Skarsgård is probably sort of like the outsider one out of that lot, but he's a good choice. He doesn't crop up a lot for roles like this, but I think he's a good choice.
No.
Next piece of news, both Will Ferrell and Liam Neeson have joined the cast of the Lego movie, Lego, The Piece of Resistance. See what they did there. The film will follow the character of Emmett, which is voiced by Chris Pratt, and who was mistaken as a hero and is forced to save the world. Ferrell will voice the film's main antagonist, President Business, with Neeson playing the chief enforcer, Bad Cop. Yes, that is actually the character's name. The film itself is set for a February the 7th, 2014 release.
Lego the movie. Oh, really?
Yeah. I know you're a little bit sick tonight, but you're not sick enough to know that Lego the movie is real.
I'm just wondering if I'm hearing things or something.
No, it's real. Trust me, it is real. Next, Sony have announced that Hotel Transylvania will be getting a sequel in 2015, but it looks like original director Genndy Tartakovsky will not return as he is working on another reboot, this time Popeye.
Just goes from bad to worse, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it can't be as bad as the live-action Popeye film with Robin Williams.
No.
There's a horrible thought planted in your head.
Move on.
My last piece of news. Bruce Campbell has confirmed that the Evil Dead remake will be a hard R. However, he expects a lot of trouble from the MPAA as the film contains extreme scenes of gore. We have to try and get it to an R. Wish us luck. We haven't gone through the ratings nightmare yet. That's coming. We have screenings coming up for the MPAA. I can hear them laughing already.
This is more your territory than mine. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Evil Dead movies, so I don't know if this next one's going to be any good. From what I hear, it sounds like they're going more on horror than comedy, like they did with the remake for Nightmare on Elm Street, and we all know how that worked out.
Yeah, well, if you remember, the first Evil Dead film is more horror than comedy.
But it still has it. There's still comedy in it.
Yeah, but compared to the second one, which is generally a remake of the first one, and the third film, which is just all-out comedy, it's a comedy horror rather than a horror comedy. Then I was impressed with the trailer. The fact that you weren't expecting what the last 30 seconds of that trailer was going to produce. So I was impressed with the trailer. I really like what they were going with, and it'll be nice to get just a horror movie out in the cinemas where it's just nothing but violence and gore and stuff, because I'm sick of seeing these horror films where they just cop out. I haven't seen an 18-rated horror film in the cinema for a very long time.
No. I know either way when it comes out, you'll be seeing it before I will.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there day one.
Yeah.
That was my last news story. Yours?
Right. Back to news regarding Star Wars, as usual. Star Wars is becoming our new Star Trek thing. We have piece of news to do with it every week. Michael Arndt, the writer of Little Miss Sunshine and Toy Story 3, and the upcoming Hunger Games Catching Fire, has been hired by Lucasfilm and Disney to work on the script for the upcoming Star Wars Episode 7. The writer won Oscar for best original screenplay for Little Miss Sunshine and was nominated for best adapted screenplay for Toy Story 3.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that Steven Spielberg and J.J. Abrams has passed on directing the next Star Wars film.
Yeah, there's loads of people. I mean, I don't think they should hire anyone until they have got the script written. They need to get that all done first and out of the way. Don't mess around with it, filming it before you've got it done.
Or at least have half of it done before they even, I know they've got to have in the back of their minds who they want, but at least have half of the script done before you properly settle.
More than half. More than half.
Because then at least you know what kind of direction it's going to go in, so then you can get a director which would fit that direction rather than just going for a James Cameron who I hope they do not touch a director like that.
Well, we'll see. As mentioned in last week's news, Mark Wahlberg was linked with possibly starring in Michael Bay's Transformers 4. Well, now it's been confirmed as being correct. Is anyone surprised? Really? No. Even though despite the claims to the contrary, it's now been confirmed by Paramount that Wahlberg will star in the movie after he and Bay worked together on upcoming action comedy Pain and Gain and enjoyed the experience so much. No further information on his character has been released yet or any other casting choices, but the movie's set for release not far off, June 2014.
Yeah, and a piece of news story came out today, the fact that it's going to be set 4 years after the last film. So.
Yeah, okay. And everyone's going to have just forgotten that there are robots walking around and everyone's back to normal. Yay, I bet that will happen.
Yep.
Even though they completely destroyed Chicago. Yeah, okay. Final piece of news this evening. Drinks company Budweiser is unhappy about their products being used in Rocker Zemeckis' upcoming movie, Flight. The drink is featured in a movie which stars Denzel Washington and tackles the subject of alcoholism. Both Budweiser and distributor of another drink called Solishnaya, well,
I don't drink, so pass.
That is featured in the movie have requested that Paramount obscure all trademarks and digital copies of the movie, which recently opened in the US and has done critically well, done really well for itself. But this is one of those things that's popped up because of that. It's due to open here. It's not out until 1st of February next year.
Yeah, we were on Following the Nerd on Thursday just gone, and we were having a little conversation about this. Why have they decided to just ask them now to do it? Why didn't I ask them at least a couple of weeks before the film was set to be released? It's a strange thing.
It's like you think that they would have known about this early on. It's only once it's been released that they've then gone, oh no, something negative to do with our product. It's alcohol, it's beer. People get drunk and do stupid things.
Yep, simple as that. Right, let's go to an ad break, and after that we'll have our first review.
Right, advert. What do I need to say in an advert? Well, I need to say that we're the Gamescast. I need to say that we're on Twitter at the Gamescast. I need to say we're on Facebook. I need to say we've got a website, thegamescast.com, and I need to say we're on YouTube. Oh yeah, and we're on this thing called Spreaker.com. Don't know where that came from. What else? That's probably it. Right, better record it. Oh, crap. That was 30 seconds. The Gamescast. Grown-up gamers talking about games. Allegedly.
Hello and welcome back. Let's get on to our first review of the night.
Just before I go into that, I'm just going to say we had a competition last week to win a DVD. We will be announcing the winner of that coming up in the second half of the show in the DVD section, so stick with us through this for that to find out who won. First review of the evening, Argo, which is written by Chris Terrio and Joshua Bierman. It's based on a book which is about a true story that happened during the 1970s and 80s in Iran to do with the American embassy. The movie is directed by and stars Ben Affleck as Tony Mendez, who is a CIA exfiltration specialist. Now, exfiltration means that he is there to basically get people out of a situation. And the whole thing is that in 1979, I think it was, the Iranian American government, so the American consulate that was in Iran, was overrun because of the fact of that the US had given sanctuary to the country's former ruler. Now, because of that, the consulate was taken over. Everyone was captured except for 6 American staff members there, who managed to get out of a side door and went into the country, found a place to hide, and hid with the Canadian ambassador in his home address. So when the American government finds out about this, they need to put the plan into action while they're also ongoing negotiations to get all of the staff back. They bring in Mendez to go through and arrange a plan how they're going to get these people back out of the country and smuggle them out. And when he comes up with a bizarre idea, and amid all the other decisions that are ideas that are being suggested that are being terrible because it's the wrong time of year, or it's going to mean people riding bikes for 300 miles. He suggests smuggling them out as a group of Canadians who are there as filmmakers who are scouting possible locations. Here's a clip.
Aliens and robots?
Yes, sir.
You're telling me that there is a movie company in Hollywood right now that is funded by the CIA?
Yes, sir.
What's wrong with the bikes again?
We tried to get the message upstairs, sir.
You think this is more plausible than teachers?
Yes, we do. One, there are no more foreign teachers in Iran.
And we think everybody knows Hollywood people. And everybody knows they'd shoot in Stalingrad with Pol Pot directing if it would sell tickets. There are only bad options. It's about finding the best one.
You don't have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
The United States government has just sanctioned your science fiction movie.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so here's the thing about Argo. I wanted to see this for a while. It has taken a few weeks longer to come out here than it has in America, so I was quite looking forward to it. I was meant to see it a week earlier, but didn't manage to see it. So I saw it opening night in a fairly packed cinema. And the thing that's really good about this is it's a film to see with people around you, with an audience, because of the fact of it's a great mixture of tension and of comedy. Not big comedy, just little bits here and there, but they're sort of it's a good tense film thriller about the situation these people are in and the mission that's going on, while cutting back and forth between things going on in Hollywood with you have these two guys played by John Goodman and Alan Arkin, who are a producer and a special effects guy in Hollywood, who have essentially come in to help out the CIA with making all the film details look real and the production appear to be real, so they've got a good cover story and all. While in the meantime, then you've got, as Ben Affleck's character goes over to Iran, sneaks into the country, and then arranges to meet up with the people, planning with them and getting them to act and know all their things. So if they're questioned, they can just say what they are: producer, director, whoever they are. The thing about it is, it's a fantastically well put together movie. I've been saying this the last week since I saw it, that Ben Affleck is no longer proving himself as a good director. Ben Affleck is a good director, because this film is absolutely brilliant. It's so really well put together. There's great switching between scenes of tension, and then it cuts to something where there's a laugh and the tension is deflated, and so you're going to be sitting there, you're going to be white knuckling it, but you're not going to end up with like cramp because your hands have been digging into the seat for half an hour without a release. Great performances from everyone in the cast, like I've said already. Ben Affleck as well. Ben Affleck is also giving a really good performance. He's the central character in this. And if the central character in this film had been a terrible performance, it would have fallen apart. He does a fantastic job in it. Bryan Cranston is in there, who's a guy who seems to be in just about everything lately, and he's just as fine in this. Alan Arkin and John Goodman are brilliant.
Everything good that is, though. He's one of those brilliant actors where if no matter what film he's in, even if it's a terrible film, you know he's going to be really good in it.
Even some of the smaller characters, I mean, some of the actors playing the 6 Americans who are trapped in Iran. I mean, Tate Donovan, some people will know him, some people won't. You'll recognise him when you see the film. He's not the best of actors, but he's brilliant in this because he's just been given what he needs and he does what is needed. And a whole bunch of other smaller actors, mostly from sort of television things, that you'll recognise them. So if you are interested in this, go and see it. There's obviously been sort of liberties they've taken with the story, because it's the fact it is based on a real event, but it's not 100% accurate because of things that have been done for creative license. And I have no problem with that when it's done right in a film as it is like this. There's essentially nothing wrong with this film. It's brilliant. Next year, come the Oscars, I fully expect it to be nominated in at least 2, if not 3, of the big categories. I expect it to be nominated Best Actor, I expect it to be nominated for Best Film, and I expect it to be nominated for Best Director. And I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I think Ben Affleck has done something here that is going to earn him at least 1 Oscar. And
who would have thought people would have actually said that? Ben Affleck up for Best Director at the Oscars.
I'm not kidding. Seriously, it's that good. It really is that good. I said already earlier, my top 10 films of the year is getting cramped, and because of films like this coming out, I'm really struggling to narrow it down between 10 films for this year. I'm like going to have at least 20.
Oh well. In the live chat, we're getting a lot of talk about Transformers. Why? I don't know why. And a little bit of love for Bryan Cranston, of course, because he is, like I said, he's one of those actors where no matter what you put him in, he's brilliant.
Liam has just asked if I'm impressed that he knew who Tate Donovan was. I was until you said he was in the OC. So you clearly have watched the OC. So you gained my. I was impressed with that, but then you lost it when you said the OC.
Yeah, you lost me as well. Next film, People Like Us. It's written by Alex Kurtzman and Robert Orci. They write a lot of things together. You know them from things like Star Trek and Fringe and Transformers. And it's Alex Kurtzman's directorial debut. It's sort of like a side project which him and Orci have been working on, because Kurtzman is wanted to do a small film, and it's based on true events because it's supposedly based on his life. It centres around Sam, which is played by Chris Pine, and he's one of these people who works in a huge, massive business. It's not actually known exactly what his job is because he wheels and deals in lots of different random things. And he's his boss, which is played by Jon Favreau, isn't happy with him at all when he makes a mistake by shipping off huge, massive containers filled of tomato juice in a train that's not air-conditioned at all. So it's ruined. So obviously the government is involved in it because of the fact that it's tainted food that they're trying to sell. What happens is that night, Sam, he ends up going home to his girlfriend who he lives with. He ends up getting bad news that his father has passed away, even though Sam has not spoken to his father at all for quite a few years. They decide to go with Elliot to the funeral of the father, but Sam is a bit reluctant. He doesn't want to go there. He tries to hide away his passport and unsuccessful. He ends up getting to Elia, where he meets up with his mother, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Again, she's shocked to actually see Sam there because she didn't even know that he was going to turn up, and she hasn't seen him for years. Sam then gets a letter which tells him how much he's inherited from his father, because his mother has got the estate and everything involved with the estate. He is getting this shaven foam box which contains $150,000 and a note to give it to a guy called Josh, which is played by Michael Hall Diadro. He's a young 12-year-old boy whose mother, played by Elizabeth Banks, is sort of like difficult to try and keep him under control. Here's a clip.
This is serious. I mean, why couldn't you shoplift or trespass? Where you lose me is explosives. That's where I feel like I'm not getting through you. Hey, are you listening to me? How am I going to pay for that pool, huh?
Lemonade stand.
Oh, you think you're the only one who can act like an 11-year-old? I invented acting out for attention. And congratulations, you got to go to see a shrink now. She wants you to fill out some workbook for your anger.
No way, Carol.
Yes, way.
I'm doing it, Carol.
Don't call me Carol. My name is not Carol. It's Mom for once in your life. No TV, no computer.
That's child abuse.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for you to tell your shrink about it.
So yeah, as you can tell, she's having trouble with her son, and during the rest of the film, she has trouble majorly with her son. However, Sam learns a secret that Frankie could be, and is in fact, his sister. And during the rest of the movie, it's him sort of trying to establish a relationship with her, but not telling her that he's her brother. And that's the problem with the film. The film falls apart on the fact that you just want to scream at the screen. Will you just tell her you can get this hour and 50 minutes suffering over and done with if you just decided to tell her? When he finally tells her in the hour and a half mark, that's when the film sort of like becomes a little bit better to watch. But during the time when he has not told her that they are in fact related, you're just constantly annoyed that you want them to tell each other, that you want to say you are related, instead of this. There is awkward sexual tension between them, And it's not the way the film should be played out. It's only a 12 year as well. Chris Pine is very average as Sam. Michelle Pfeiffer crops up now and again, and she's okay. The star of the show, if you have to choose one, is Elizabeth Banks, who plays Frankie, and she's really good. But the film itself is a bit pointless, and it's supposedly based on Alex Kurtzman's life. And if this is actually true, then he's just stupid. He's stupid. So the film itself, I would just say avoid it slightly. It's a very forgettable film.
Okay, I'm going to move on then to Here Comes the Boom, which is a film that's directed by Frank Coraci. It's written by and stars Kevin James. Now, before we go into this any further, I'm just going to say, Kevin James, okay, we have issues with Kevin James, as everyone really should. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy who was in films like Zookeeper and Paul Blart Mall Cop, and he was in films with Adam Sandler like Grown Ups. Now, the thing is that last week I saw Argo during the week, and then at the weekend I was like, I could see something. I watched the trailer for Here Comes the Boom. Decided, okay, I'll go and have a look at it because I genuinely was intrigued and interested in it. So I went and saw it. It's a story about one of these sort of comedies, as you expect from Kevin James, where he's a school teacher. He's a biology school teacher who is kind of a slacker teacher. Doesn't really care. Goes into school, sits there, gives the kids their books, sits on the desk with his feet up reading the newspaper. One of his friends and fellow teachers, played by Henry Winkler, is the music teacher, and the entire school is brought into a meeting where they're told, because of a massive deficit in school funding, all of the arts classes are going to be ditched and cancelled off, including music, which is much to the disappointment of Henry Winkler's character because he'll lose his job. And Kevin James' character decides that he's going to jump up and says, we should help do this. We should help save the money because of the fact we should help raise the money to do this because we can. The amount of money he needs to raise is somewhere in the region of $46,000, so it's not a chump change. And he ends up finding that one of the people who he's sort of tutoring, because he does a part-time job as a American tutor to people who are emigrating to the US. One of the guys he teaches there, he finds that is a good fighter who knows a lot of the MMA fighting styles. He finds that even if you fight in that and you lose, you can still get paid $10,000. So he decides to enter into that with some interesting results. Here's a clip.
You dislocated your shoulder. You have to go to the hospital.
Last time I went to the hospital, it actually cost me more than I made in the fight, so you gotta help me.
But I would have to reset it.
Look, whatever you gotta do, then make it happen.
All right.
You gotta go easy first. No. Foot not going there.
All right. No, you're right. I just gotta find the right angle. I'm sorry. Okay. You're gonna be all right.
You can't go above. Okay, that's past the level that I just said I can't go, though, okay?
I'm sorry. Don't worry, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be okay. Okay. I just gotta get in here.
Easy, okay?
Let's get in there. All right.
That hurts.
You ready?
Yeah.
I always wanted to try this.
Try this? What do you mean try? You never done this before?
Are you okay?
Oh, man.
And the woman that was helping him there is Salma Hayek, who plays the sort of the school nurse who ends up helping him, and he's been trying all the way through the film to ask her out, and she's turning him down, and it's this ongoing sort of flirtatious thing and all, which is one of the elements of the film that is typical. Oh, there you go, the cliche of cliches. You have the whole thing of the Henry Winkler character, who's completely kind of useless when it comes to sorting out anything and doing anything, but he's kind of the lovable character. You have the whole thing of the guy who's a slacker until he becomes sort of interested when something happens, or a kid comes up to him and says something, and all these cliches. But here's the thing, all these Kevin James films that I absolutely hate, Zookeeper and everything, it is nowhere near as bad as any of those. It's not even particularly bad. It's average, okay. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I had fun with it. There's jokes in it which are the typical kind of things, and then after about halfway through, it kind of changes direction and becomes not serious, but just starts just having fun with things instead of just being stupid it starts getting its act together. It's rated 12A. Here's one of the biggest problems I have with it. It should not be 12A. It should be 15 because there are full contact sequences in the last half hour of the film where it stops becoming comical fighting, like him being knocked out immediately from a knee to the face that takes him out in 5 seconds flat, to full on a scene with him knocking down a guy and pummeling into him like 6-7 hits to the face while the guy's on the ground. You should not have that in a 12 rating film. But that's an issue with the rating that's not to do with the film itself. The film itself, surprisingly, as I said, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I kind of liked it, and I loved the ending. Someone in the chat has said that, quite rightly so, it sounds like a spoof of Warrior, and it kind of is. But it's not a full-out spoof. It's just it's hard to say it, but I like it. I look forward to maybe seeing this again because it's not bad. It's just watchable. It's not saying it's brilliant, but it is an hour and 45 minutes. The ending needs a bit of trimming because once it gets to a certain point, you're like, okay, film's over, let's go. But aside from that, it's really just oddly entertaining, and I was surprised.
Now, I wonder what you probably think that I think of the film. I don't think you actually need any guesses, do you?
Well, okay,
nope.
Let's see.
No, silence there. So
I'm waiting.
Guesses.
I'm waiting. You know, I'm going to be interested to see what you think. Did you hate it or did you like it?
I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it.
Ooh.
But I still thought it was a bad film. I didn't hear that. I would normally go off on a major rant here, but I thought it was a bad film. It's not funny at all. I didn't find myself laughing at all during any part of the film. The only thing that sort of redeems it for me is the MMA fighting scenes, because I liked the way they were handled. The fact that you had a camera practically attached to them, and you saw it from the viewpoint of that. Because you very rarely, when you watch fighting films, you very rarely get to see it exactly from the viewpoint of it, and it adds a bit more impact to it. I just found the fact that with the movie written by Kevin James, he's sort of like written the perfect role for himself, because he's not this sort of like stature gentleman. He's more of a plumpier kind of gentleman, and you wouldn't have expected him to be like this. And he's wrote a role where it's sort of like his dream role, and it's really cynical on that point. And
did you not think though? Did you not think by the end though he actually did kind of get himself a bit in shape? He was still a bit bigger, but he kind of like by the end of it, was just like, okay, he's actually put some work in here.
He did, but I just, honestly, I didn't find the film enjoyable at all, apart from the fight scenes and the MMA fight scenes. It's not funny. The characters are really, really annoying.
Disagree on that. I disagree on the not funny thing. I laughed, and the people I was in the cinema with laughed as well, and there was quite a few people in there. And everyone seemed to enjoy it. I mean, that's the one thing I do want to mention is the fact of that I am tired of these comedy films that rely on Judd Apatow type gross out humour, which this film, aside from one incident I can think of, does not have any others. There's just one which is okay. It's a bit, but it works in the film, and it was done and over with. It wasn't something that they dragged on it. They carried on the same thing. They didn't repeat the jokes in it, and I thought that was fine. And the rest of it was just light-hearted movie with heart.
No, I just thought it was it was very boring, but the fight scenes were sort of like the highlight of it. Personally,
I just think I didn't think you were going to like it, but I'm surprised that you didn't entirely hate it.
No, I didn't hate it because it's not the typical sort of like gross out comedy or stupid comedy that you would see Adam Sandler in.
It's nowhere near as bad as things like The Zookeeper and Paul Blart Mall Cop. It's nowhere near as annoying, stupid, or it's just ridiculous.
It's still a bad film, but it's not a terrible film. Right, the last film of the night, Grassroots, I'll just quickly go through it. It's directed by Stephen Gyllenhaal, the father of Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal. And it's a very simple story. It centres around the character of Nick, who's sort of like this slack George yokel kind of character, this kind of guy who gets through life and not doing very much. Yeah, he's
like
a very
Cletus
Cletus
from
kind
The
of
Simpsons.
character. Yeah, he gets through life by not doing very much, and he comes up with an idea. He should run for Seattle government to sit on the Seattle City Council. So he gets his friend, he ropes in his friend, played by Jason Biggs, to help him out to campaign, because he wants to keep the way Seattle looks, rather than them just building highways constantly or making it look ugly. He wants to keep the natural look of what Seattle like, because he loves the city, and so it's just about him campaigning to try and sit on the Seattle City Council, and Jason Biggs helped him out. And it is actually based on a true story, because this did happen back in, unfortunately, 2001 when 9/11 happened. And there is a brief scene in the film which involves 9/11. Now, the film itself, it's not very good at all. It tries to handle both sides of drama and comedy, and it feels on both elements, because the political side of it is not very interesting. The characters are just really annoying. You would not vote for any of the characters in this film because they are just really annoying. The comedy side of it doesn't work at all. When you put something serious like 9/11 in it and do it properly serious, rather than doing maybe it's like a little spoof of it, or taking it properly serious, and the film itself has got a comedy twist to it, then it doesn't work. And by throwing that in, it sort of like tries to manipulate you a little bit, and it fails. The film itself, overall, it fails. And so Stephen Gyllenhaal has fathered two fantastic actors in Jake and Maggie, but he is not a brilliant director. As a matter of fact, he's not a very good one at all. And the best thing about the film is Jason Biggs. He's not on American Pie territory in here, because he keeps his character straightforward, and it's all about the drama on his side, and he's not too bad as that. But it's still not a very good film at all. I can't recommend it. Right, that's it for the cinema part of the show. We will be announcing the winner of last week's competition in the Blu-ray and DVD part of the show. So if you want to find out if you've won it, make sure you tune into that. So we will be back in a moment with the Blu-ray and DVD part of the show.